into this because it is still ongoing, but I do want to give you an update, is that the audit has been completed. We're dealing with the FEC in the coming months. There will be probably a hefty fine. The last time the state party got a fine like this, I think it was $40,000. So I wouldn't expect anything less than that on this. I want to also remind you, I should have said this when I was talking about my letter to the Ethics Commission. I also want to remind counties that even though you don't have a reporting requirement to the State Ethics Commission or to the FEC, I really need you to make sure that you're following state ethics rules. But they've been asking about the RNC shares rate. And so I want to address my views on that for you, because I know a number of you either haven't or maybe haven't heard where my position is. And my view is that I'm new to the RNC right now. I've been to one meeting. I'm still trying to kind of get the lay of the land and try to figure out what's going on with everything there. But there are a few things I do know. What I will tell you is I'm still exploring what I'm going to do, and I probably won't decide until the morning I go in to vote. That's where I stand on that. So I have not made up a final decision on which way I'm going to go. Let me talk about convention very briefly, and I know we're going to have a little bit of a section on convention a little bit. So many of you know that the work of the last convention was not complete. And so there is work to do from that convention. Now, talking with a number of you and trying to figure out the best way to handle all of these issues, we're going to have a 2-day convention. There will be pre-registration. Rhonda insisted that that be one of the conditions of her serving as credentials chair. I have had some questions from some folks about me, and the answer is yes, I'm running again.
Question of clarification on Wayne Hill, Osage County GOP chair. People that do not show up on Friday for the state meeting, you said the credential committee would consider whether to allow them to come in. What are those extenuating circumstances? They say, well, we're not predicted, as long as they were pre-registered.
Yeah, thank you for the question, and thank you. I guess I didn't make that clear. So what my intent is you should be there Friday, and you should credential in on Friday. I know already from some folks that they're not going to be able to be there Friday. They've got to work, they've got to come in from too far, whatever. Those people who are unable to do that will be given the ability to sign in on Saturday morning, but they need to be pre-registered. Everybody who comes to convention needs to be pre-registered. Just so you have an expectation of what the cost is going to be this year. This is a 2-day convention, so the price is going to go up, and our costs on securing a facility are going to go up. I hate to speculate exactly right now, but expect the registration cost to be somewhere between $100 and $130.
I'm sorry, Linnell Medley, McIntosh County Chair. So my question is we're already bearing a lot of extra expenses, hotels, we have the same, we're all paying the inflation on the gas, so that's not really an extra issue. But is there not any way that the Oklahoma State office can't help to defray those costs? That we're already bearing extra costs?
So my understanding is the last convention cost about $50 for registration. And so for a 2-day convention, doubling that to 100, it is, makes sense. But we're going to do everything we can to keep it as low as possible. We're looking at offers from Tulsa and from Oklahoma City.
There was a reference to David McLean's convention at being $50. Well, that had jumped tremendously from previous conventions where we just used the Methodist church down there and more or something like that, where we don't have to incur these massive costs. So McLean jumped it up. That should not be the bar that we're reaching for when it comes to financial. This is a party that's supposed to reach out for everybody, and especially our grassroots people. Not everybody's got that kind of money laying around, so just please be considerate of that when picking it. Thank you.
By now, most of you probably know that I'm leaning toward Ron McDaniel for election. So the question is, why?
I don't want someone to tell me the reasons that we should vote for someone. We don't vote for people because they're doing a good job. We vote for people who are going to do the best job for our country. So So ask the tough questions of each candidate, know where they stand, know what they're going to do for the American people, not for the Republican Party, for the American people who are losing their freedoms daily.
Linnell Medley, McIntosh County Chair. I just wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Because I'm not totally familiar with this, and I am fairly new. So what is the role of a national committee man and committee woman? Is your job to represent our body?
My job is to represent what I think is in the best interest of the Republican Party for the state of Oklahoma.
In this country today, did you guys see a Trafalgar poll that came out? Trafalgar poll, and when I can pull it up real quick, came out. They interviewed 1,000 Republicans throughout the country in the last week. Let me pull it up real quick, guys. And of those 1,000 people polled, 86% want change.
Yep,
86% want change.
We have 99% through rewritten proposed rule changes for the handling of proxies that we think will address the issues in here and maybe simplify the process a little bit. I can tell you that some of the major changes that are in there are reducing the number of proxies that are allowed and reducing the number of times proxies can be used in a given calendar year by any one official and setting together a really good table for how that's to be worked. And I think you're going to like the finished product.
Very hard from Altus. People that are not even elected and Republican as far as that are the ones that are coming into our meetings with these things and voting for. We've got people in Harbin County, Tillman County, Kiowa County, our county, people that represent that are not on the committees and have never come to a meeting, but they've given to certain people with power. And they come into these meetings and they manipulate.
Question. Did the committee look at whether or not there was harvesting of proxies at the legislature? Not that that is necessarily illegal or whatever, but do we currently have a practice of handing out proxy forms to the legislators as a convenience to them?
I would say it'd be fair to say that the committee talked about all that stuff.
Proper notification starts with an accurate delegate list, which is to be submitted to the state party 30 days prior to the convention.
I do have questions. I don't know if it's considered debate.
I'll debate you.
Aileen Stupich, Oklahoma County. So in reading this, I went back to party rules, and Rule 16H says 7 days prior to convention. At the last convention 2 years ago, we had submitted, and lists kept coming back from the state, which were not accurate. It went back and forth, to the point where we had problems at the convention that day because of communication problems, and that had to do with the building of the database. What are you doing to assure us that, one, that's not going to take place, that we're not going to have those problems which had to do with submitting the delegates and having those issues, and the fact that sometimes, right now in Oklahoma County, we have precinct meetings set for January 28th, 19 locations for 22 House districts of this county. We're expecting to have a greater number of delegates to go. And what I'm understanding, if I'm reading these rules, is that you want to set list of delegates and that nobody will come to the convention. So I guess if you want to answer, in other words, nobody can come that isn't on the list. Is that what you're saying?
You can attend as a guest if you're not on the list. Your system.
So then I think my next question is, with this resolution, this would be a friendly resolution and not a requirement because it's not in line with party rules. Are you asking to override party rules that give us 7 days in advance? Because it actually spells that out in
7 days in advance to
it says the list of those persons signing as delegates must be submitted to the congressional district or state chairman at least 7 days prior to the respective convention.
Well,
So
we're
there
just
already
asking
is.
that we move the dates ahead to allow for more. If you wait until 7 days to submit your list, then your people are not going to be able to register until those lists are.
Point of clarification, that rule is actually where the state party has to prefer to provide the list of qualified delegates down to the district levels. It's not where we have to get them to the state party. That is.
Hang on just a second.
That was not clarification, I'm sorry, that did not help me at all.
Well, when you're looking at the rules backwards, it wouldn't clarify. Joe Beffer, Washington County, the rule that you're referring to requires the state to provide the district, the list to the districts of all of the qualified delegates that have been submitted 7 days before said convention. This has nothing to do with the county submitting that rule.
That's not what it says here.
Say it again.
In the interest of time, because our meeting's supposed to be over, and in the interest of, we just got this resolution yesterday, and we've not had an opportunity to discuss this amongst ourselves or with the county committee, and we really don't have time for a proper debate because it's already over. I say that we table this motion. Okay, I make a motion that we postpone it until a later time.
A motion has been made to table. Is there a second for a motion to table?
I'll second, but I was just a point of information.
Okay.
Again, Galen and I apparently, as chairman, had the same problem. We submitted names. I know I did at least 3 times get exchanged until.
There's a motion on the floor, Brian. I understand what you're saying.
We walked up. Well, I think people deserve to know before.
There's a motion to table. So let me do that first, okay? Okay.
And he seconded.
And he did second it, that's correct, yes. So there is a motion on the floor. We're going to do this by standing vote to start. Those in support of tabling this resolution, please stand. Okay, sit down, please. Those opposed to tabling the motion, please stand. I believe that it's overwhelming, and we are going to continue with debate.
Okay, I make a motion to postpone it until our next state committee.
It's not that's already been reconsidered. Let me give Mr. Hobbs the floor back to discuss his concerns.
I'm just trying to
Microphone.
to you all.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to convey to you guys that the last time we had a convention, numerous county chairs had multiple problems with this, and I'm not saying we're going to this time. I totally understand the idea behind this, but let's just say we do run into that again, and we're doing the back and forth up until right before the convention. My people show up like they did last time, and there's no way to vet them to get in, and it's not their fault. It wasn't my fault. I submitted it, and it wasn't any of ours. Well, it shouldn't have been a problem last time, but yet it was. And we have no emergency measures. I'd feel better if we had some emergency measures. I'm fine with the pre-registration and everything else, but
Point of information.
Let me address your concern from my perspective. And I'm not entering debate in this, I'm just letting you know. This is a resolution. This isn't a final hard rule. If we do run into problems, we at the state party are more than happy to cater to those issues. I think that the important thing to take out of this is the pre-registration element, that we want people to register ahead of time. And if you have an issue, if the county has an issue, I'm not going to be a jerk about it. We're going to let you in. Okay?
Awesome.
Okay. I've heard a call for the question. There's a second for the question.
We haven't finished discussion.
Those in support of calling the question, please stand. So let me do this. What we're doing is we're voting to vote. If you are in support of calling the question, which means we will vote on the resolution now.
Ending debate.
Please stand.
Ending debate.
Okay, thank you. Sit down. This does not take a two-thirds vote. Those opposed to ending debate, please stand. There's not the support the support is there to end debate. The question's been called. And we now move to the resolution.
I was standing to
So
speak.
we have now moved on to the resolution. Those in support of the resolution, please signify by standing.
What is that? What is that?
To have pre-registration, no day of registration at convention. Please sit. Those opposed to the resolution. The ayes have it. There will be no pre-registration, or there will only be pre-registration.